Hello and welcome to the U Up Podcast. I'm Jared Freed, and I am joined by today's very special co-host, Dr. Naomi Bernstein. How are you? Good to see you.
Awesome to be here. It takes a village to cover a maternity leave, so
It really does. It is a truly unbelievable thing. The way you go, Jordana's on maternity leave, and people are like, how can I help? What can I do? You hear so much negative, don't you think? Like, we hear the noises, maternity leave isn't long enough, I should get it for 7 years, and other countries do it this way. But really, it is a beautiful thing when you're kind of involved with the maternity. Like, I'm involved in the least way you could be involved, but just hearing how people have been so amazing.
No, I totally agree. It's like, when they say look for the helpers, you can look for all the disappointing people and policy, but you can also look for the helpers, which is me and you.
Yes, we are helpers. I've never been a helper before. This is new for me.
Well, you can
I'm
show
usually
up
the
at
one
her
running
house
away
at around
scared.
9 o'clock when she's ready to go to bed. That's another way to help. And take a baby.
What's that? You show up at 9 o'clock?
At Jordana's house.
Wait, I'm sorry. I got lost for a second. I was laughing.
You can be a helper by going to Jordana's house.
There's no way I'm ever going to do that.
At 9 o'clock and snuggling a baby.
I wouldn't. I saw Mike is in the picture with the baby, and he's got the two babies, one on each arm, and it was like dead man walking. Like he looked so out of his depths. And like Jordana's like with the baby, you're like, this looks natural. Mike looked like, and he looked like how I would look. Like, did you have that with Jeff when you had your first kid?
Oh, when they're newborns and it's your first one, it's so awkward. It's like holding a wine glass with like your pinky. It's like newborns and dads, they take some time, I think, most of the time to settle in, but he'll get there.
Well, he'll get there. Absolutely. Like they all do, like that's what I told Jordana. The dumbest people in the world have kids, so everyone, you're not the dumbest in the world.
Yeah.
So
better than that.
You're right. You're somewhere between the smartest and the dumbest. So you're better than some. Dr. Naomi Bernstein is here. This is like the Jetsons meet the Flintstones. Like this is like two podcasts coming together. Dr. Naomi Bernstein is the co-host of one of my favorite podcasts because it's in my rotation. I listen every week. Aww. It is called Oversharing, and I want everyone to go follow, subscribe. It is a really, you don't have me yelling and screaming and being an idiot. It is calming. It is assuring. I love listening to the show. I love listening to the people's problems. Sometimes I listen to they have a segment called Triggered, and it's basically asking how triggered could I be from this scenario? And I love that segment. It makes me laugh every time. It makes me thank the Lord above I'm not dating some of these people.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. Like, I'm like, you're triggered by that. There was one that I recently listened to where the mother-in-law was shooing the woman out of pictures.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't believe that happened. You're like, how is anyone allowing this to happen? The mother-in-law was basically, and she had a kid when was married. It wasn't like she was a girlfriend,
dating. Yes, that was crazy. I've seen that happen in real life. I've witnessed that scenario.
And
brutal.
Well, I want to ask you about true life scenarios before we get started. But so we want everyone to go listen to Oversharing or go watch it. You can watch it on YouTube, also Spotify. They have video, and then also they have bonus episode called "Calm the Fuck Down," Calm TF Down. I like your bonus episodes because you do follow ups. It is way more real. It's almost like the podcast you wish existed for every podcast. Like you hear back from people, you do updates, you have these meditations that you can listen to get yourself to go to a baby shower when you don't want to, like all these things. So it's like there's actual help going on there.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then, it is interesting. Like Jordana and I get a little bit more personal in there. We just recorded one where she talks about her surrogate and her birth story for the first baby. And so we do get a little bit more personal in there. And I love a good update. And we take feedback, that's a tough spot. You
read feedback to your advice.
Negative and positive. How
does that feel as a doctor? I'm sure you guys, you're the doctor. you're not to be disagreed with. Like, I don't know. I hear what a doctor says and I take it under advisement, but I'm never like that stupid fucking doctor. Like, how do you like, isn't there a point where you go, I'm the one with the credibility here, not your aunt who said the sun set early. That's why, I feel this way.
True. But I pride myself in practicing that. Nobody's perfect. And especially when all you're getting is an email, you don't have, someone say, well, you didn't think about this. And I pride myself in being able, one, to tolerate a little bit of criticism and practice not getting defensive. So I like being able to do that. And I'm not perfect. And I like to hear people's perspectives. And part of a good therapy relationship is a back and forth. You can tell me. It's different than a doctor that's like, okay, here's the test result and here's the medication.
Now, Dr. Naomi Bernstein, you can also sign up for individual or group therapy, and you can get individual therapy with Dr. Naomi. The website is naomibernstein.com. That's naomibernstein.com. It's going to be the link is going to be in the bio of this episode, where you can sign up for individual or group therapy. Here's my question related to individual and group therapy. What's kind of in right now? Like, I know that's like a weird way to put it, but like, I would assume that there are, there's kind of like what are people coming in for right now? What are people dealing with generally? Like, with the world today, I go on social media and then I walk away. I go, boy, it seems like people aren't doing well. But that's like a bad place to go, because if you were told, yeah, you can go into that room and scream whatever you want, it's going to be a lot of negativity, because the real world is a little just less screaming.
Yeah.
What are people coming to you for?
If I had to summarize real quick, I'd say one, probably a lot of listeners to this show, timeline stuff. I want to get on with the next stage of my life. And is this right? How long settling in to what I have now instead of seeking the next thing, the partner, the new job, some of that. Some people are miserable at work and they're trying to figure out, do I make a brand new change in the middle of what feels like the middle of my life, even though you're probably 32? Can I tolerate this forever? Is this all there is? Kind of stuff.
Is this it? So
yes.
Does that ever get bleak for you? Like, how do you convince someone it isn't it? Or like, do you say, get a hobby? Like, I'd be annoyed at that advice, but it's probably the advice I need. Like,
right. Or maybe this is it, and you have to change your mindset for what it is that you think. Because when you get to the next thing, then you eventually get back to, is this it? Every time you make a new move, you eventually get back to that place of, oh, this is it. What do I need to do next? So my approach is more, instead of changing what's going on outside of your life, you have to change the way that you are approaching your mindset towards your life. So that's why the groups are great, because the groups will take somebody who's 23 and just got broken up with, and then they'll have somebody who's 47 and going through a divorce with 3 kids. And then you'll have someone who's like, I don't want kids at all, but I hate my job. And they're all in the same space together.
Right. And that's got to be, that feels good. I think that's why doing stand-up it can be therapy sometimes, because you hear from so many different people going through so many different things. And you're like, yeah, everyone's got problems. Everyone's got tries and tribs, like, I don't know. And then you hear like, my parents are annoying, your parents are annoying, my girlfriend, I don't know if it's the right one. I'm going through a breakup. I found love. You hear all the stories just out there. And it's like, it does feel calming to know that like, everyone's just trying to figure it out.
Yes. And that's why I didn't mention that I came to your show a week ago today.
You came to the show. Okay. I did a show in Dallas. You and Jeff came. It was so great to see you guys. I'm going to talk about my experience with you on our benefits episode.
Okay.
Because Jordana was having the baby, and I just thought it was so funny. I'm nervous for Jordana's baby. We haven't gotten an announcement, and you're like, I hope it lands on this date because these numbers are good. I'm like, listen, you witchy bitch, we need a baby. Like, you almost made me feel better, because I was like, is it happening? Like, I was so nervous. But it was great to see you. I feel part of the, the whole family with you and Jordana, all the siblings. So I'm going through it in the same, in the same way a brother would, I felt like.
Day of the show was like the day that it was happening. That was crazy. That was kind of cool because even in the drive down, I'm like, keep checking my messages, and obviously I didn't check my phone during the performance.
My show is, I hate, the thing I hate about a stand-up show is like you have to calm people down during it. There's sometimes people yell out, but I'm like, I don't want to be the substitute teacher. You can be on your phone if you want to be on your phone. Just shut the fuck up while you do it.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't get you. Sorry. Right. Okay, right. I tried my best. I didn't go on stage and not do my best. So you saw a show where someone yelled out during it. What was your perspective on someone yelling out? Sometimes, because when family and friends see someone yell at me on stage, I know that they get like my parents are like, just move on. They just don't want me to even acknowledge it.
I like it when you get in there and call them out. And if that were me, I would feel regretful for screaming out and interrupting somebody's show.
The person they messaged me. So this person yelled out asking about Jordana's babies, which is like, it is offensive to me during my show that has nothing to do with Jordana's babies to go, hey, so what's going on with Jordana? It's like, wow, I really lost you. And so it is offensive. And I noticed that they were taking pictures during the show. So this person came for a different show than I was putting on, that can happen. Everyone comes to a comedy show with different ideas of what it is. Oh, he's going to talk to us. He's going to make fun of me. I'll be on stage. No, you're not. That's not what my show is. And when that doesn't happen, they go, well, we'll just act like we're at an Applebee's catching up.
Right.
And so then this woman yells out about Jordana's babies, and I, answered her and made fun of her. And the making fun of her isn't to like be mean to her. It's to communicate this wasn't where the show is going. I'm sure when you're someone's doctor or their therapist, you go, oh, they're not hearing this.
Right.
And I kind of know they're not hearing this. And then they message me with their phone number after, let's get together. I'm like, on what earth do I want to go out with my, with the person that was like being a dick to me? How much confidence do you think I lack?
Yeah,
so
she probably didn't see it that way. She maybe thought she was being funny but
right.
I don't think people realize how much work I do when I watch a comedy show goes into the timing. It's all about whenever I try to retell a joke, I mess it up every time because it's the timing. And so if someone ruins your flow, I could see that being really annoying.
Yeah, because then you have to readjust. You have to make fun of this person, then bring people back to the beginning. Like I have to make fun of them. I have to have the audience be on board. I can't be too mean. It's a man talking to a woman. I'm not going to that's a tough dynamic.
Yep.
And it is a lot of psychology. Like I have to worry about the psychology of 1,000 people sitting in front of me.
Yes.
And not to make it more than it is. I'm talking about farts and penises. So it's fine. But like I do have a moment where I'm like, I appreciate when you say that because I'm like, there's so many factors that
I can't retell a single joke without it.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe mine aren't that funny to retell.
No. But I really appreciate it. A lot of effort goes into it. So when I feel you when people
it's 2 years of writing, really. It takes 2 years for a special to really be kicking. And the material that I'm talking about is from years ago too. Like I'm talking about a trip I took to Europe that was years ago that I'm like bringing back those memories. That's difficult to do. And then I'm talking about like, dealing with my family and, when it works, nothing feels better in the entire world. Like when it's chugging along.
Hysterical. It was like we were, the people behind me were cackling in my ear. Like Jeff was hysterical. It was a great time and it was a great day. We ended up with a baby after that too. So it was
we got a baby. So listen, Dr. Naomi, you're going to answer a couple of emails with me. We want everyone to go follow Dr. Naomi, go oversharing the group and individual therapy, sign up at NaomiBernstein.com. Okay, let's play an Icky or Picky. You ready?
Let's do it.
I have a quote of the day before we get into it. You ready? Because this is a quote you give, but I want you to explain it. Because I feel it, but I want you to explain it. When the pain of the pain is greater than the pain of the change, you change.
So this is originally a quote that comes from addiction recovery, right? So that's where it originally comes from in the sense of when the pain of the life that you're living as an addict is worse than the pain that it'll take for you to change, then you'll do whatever it takes. And I think this works well for dating also, in the sense that, pain that of being on your own, and if you isn't that great, if you love your life, if you're busy, if you're traveling, if you're having fun, if you have lots of friends, you love your job, then the pain of the pain probably isn't greater than the pain of the change. And we'll listen to an email and see what the pain of the change is. But we can discuss this one, see what the pain of the change is in terms of doing things differently in dating, or maybe being vulnerable, or we'll see what.
So the pain of the change, let's bring it back to like alcohol. The pain of the pain is I wake up with a hangover every morning. The pain of the change is I have to go to a bar and not have the social lubricant of alcohol.
Yep. Exactly.
That's what it is. So it's trade-offs. And I think that's maybe like the biggest problem with dating is, and the biggest problem I'm sure that you see with someone going, is my life where it should be at 40, is, are they okay with trade-offs? I deal with my mom every day. She has never understood the idea of trade-offs. Like when I'm like, hey, I found a new apartment, she's like, is there a butler's pantry? And I'm like, well, I couldn't afford the butler's pantry, but I do have a second bedroom, which makes me feel really happy. Well, how many parking spots? Do you have 7 parking spots? No, it doesn't come with 7 parking spots. It comes with 2. And, well, what will you do with your bicycle tires? Where will you put them? And I'm like, well, I'll make there's a trade-off. I have to put my bicycle tires in the second parking spot. And I think it's funny. I wish I didn't have to deal with trade-offs. I wish we could have everything, but you can't have it all. And it sounds depressing. But how do you do a positive spin on, I'm dating someone who I love, but I can't have it all? It's kind of what this is saying.
Yeah, and that's very true. I think the best way to look at it, I mean, I've been married for almost 20 years, right?
And you guys seem happy. When I see you two together, there's an energy. Let me give you feedback as a couple. There's fun energy. You seem to like each other. There's a little bit of ball busting going on. There's love there. There's like let me just say, some sexual tension between you and your husband. Like there's a palpable. I can't say that for everybody. How do you do that?
There's a lot of things that he is and that we are, and there's a lot of things that he isn't and that we aren't. And for us, I think obviously, I do think physical attraction is important because it makes the other things more tolerable. There's that trade-off, right? Like if you're physically attracted to someone, they're a little bit less annoying, or the things that they do that are irritating are less irritating. But I think in terms of not focusing on this is the mindset piece, right? We don't enjoy the same hobbies, really, Jeff and I. Like, he's foodie. He likes to cook. He likes to eat. I like to play sports. I like to climb rocks. I like to, we don't.
Yeah, Jeff sounds like my type.
He does. He likes wine. He likes food. He's very sensory, music, all that, and I like music, but I'm not spending a whole day just listening to albums. So, but if I focused on that, and I was like, I heard you and Brian did one about someone in a different music taste, and I thought that
they didn't like indie bands. But
absurd.
It's absurd.
I'm married 20 years. If I decide that I can't be with him because he likes, this band and I don't, that's the point of when you're dating, if you're focusing on these nitpicky little hobbies that I like or I don't like, that's where I think you're going to get yourself into
I have
trouble.
a question for you, because as a single man, 40 years old, I get asked, will you meet my friend all the time? And I get asked by my parents, relatives, friends, DMs, moms in my DMs.
Right.
Jared,
that's flattering.
It's very flattering. And then here's a lot of times, and this is something that people around, as you get older, the feedback is not, no one wants to hear it. If I say not my type, the feedback always is like, who are you to even have a type at this point?
Oh.
And they don't say that in those many words. No one's that mean.
That's what you're interpreting.
That's the vibe I get back of they're beautiful. And then it's like, not my type isn't that they're ugly to me, but I have been dating for long enough to know that this is a type that I have dated before, that I start straying towards other types that are very similar to one another. So I'm like, that's not my type. And it's usually someone that's like very like, someone's trying to fix me up, and then it's like a very like societally skinny blonde. Let me give a societal type of hot chick, skinny blonde. And I'm like, they're not my type. I like a curvy woman. Like I've said this enough times on the air, and
so you're like, stop sending the skinny blondes.
Right. Well, I'm like, look at my For You page. It's a bunch of, big titted models, like I'm sorry. But then the feedback is like, well, you seem like almost crazy. Do you think not my type is enough of a reason to not go on a first date with someone?
Well, I think this might be controversial, but I do think in some ways not my type sounds more of like a sexual, like you could look at a tall blonde and be like, she looks beautiful, like a painting, like a beautiful painting. Sexually, there's probably something not happening there in the same way. So I think some people don't get that. And I think for a man, that's probably a little bit different maybe than for a woman.
Different how? It means more to a man than a woman?
Yeah, because I think men are wired to be sexually looking around a little bit more.
I'll give you an example. This is like a very crazy example.
Especially after kids.
What do you mean?
I think when a woman has kids, it's like she's focused on this family and this little unit. And I think there's just a different, if you're not getting your sexual type as a man in a relationship, it's a little bit more dangerous versus a woman, I think. And this is stereotypical, so everyone's going to come for me. But like,
right. But that's why we're going to make a clip out of this. Because I believe in what you're saying.
Yeah.
For a man, like if they say not my type, stop pushing.
Right.
Like
right.
that would be my view of it. But from the doctor, the therapist, point of view, would you agree with that?
If what you're saying is true, if you're showing a woman a tall, handsome blonde, right, and she prefers a dark-haired, dark-eyed guy, I don't think that's gonna matter, right? Or like if she prefers a beefier guy and this is a skinnier guy, I don't think for women, come out again, feedback, right? Let's hear it.
Go on, say it. Say your piece.
I don't think that's going to affect the ability for a long-term future in the same way for a woman. If they're both attractive, like you're saying, tall, beautiful blonde versus like a curvy brunette, shorter, maybe, whatever it is. I don't think for a woman that's going to change the long-term future if they're both like conventionally attractive people and you could find them attractive. That sexual craving for a certain type of body, I think is going to be more of a problem on the guy's end. If we're talking about heterosexual relationships here, than on a woman.
I think that's an interesting thing to look at because I do think you get proposed people. Like I went on a date with Brooks Nader, the swimsuit model, like Keeping Up with the Naders. It was part of their show, and I went on the date with her, and she was like totally amazing and awesome. And I was like, this is why she's a supermodel. Like her personality is something that I was like infatuated by. But I did say to myself, weirdly, me, grossy, dumpy Justine, I'm sitting here going, she's not my type. Like I was like, she's beautiful.
And I think what you mean by that is there might be a sexual craving for another type of physical body if I'm not getting that with this person.
Right. And it was just so weird to think. I was like, because someone would look at me and go, you don't want to marry her? And I'd be like, no, I wasn't really there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing.
I want to hear from the people. I'm curious to see. I think not my type for a woman, I think means maybe more like I'm not attracted to this person.
Interesting.
And not my type for a man means like I'm not that excited about having sex with this person.
Right. I guess I would say I would still have sex with them, not my type.
But I'm going to have my eyes looking out for the other one.
The way I sweat for someone is different. The chemical, physical, animalistic, drool, it's for a different type.
Right.
And I don't know. I think about this a lot because I'm like, I do get presented with so many nice, beautiful women. And that's hard to even say out loud.
People, the line around this theater I was going to wait. Jeff and I were going to wait and hang out and say hi to Jared. And then I saw this line. I was like, I can't wait. Beautiful women, like gorgeous woman after woman on this line.
And it's all of them absolutely worthy of love and an amazing relationship. Like that's the thing. I can't fuck them all. So
should we answer some people's questions? Or are we just going to do this?
I'm sorry. This is an icky or picky. So we are going to tell people if they're being too picky. They have the ick. We get to judge. Is it an ick or are they being too picky? Longtime listener writing to you after a conversation has left me feeling very lost and insecure. I'm feeling a bit turned off. Maybe that's just me being picky. I'm a 34-year-old woman living in Toronto. In October, I started talking to this guy, 37, who is the same creative field as I am. We really started to vibe. In early November, we began meeting up and have been seeing each other pretty regularly since then, once a week or so. I really enjoyed the time I spent with him, and he's probably one of the gentlest and warmest human beings I've ever met, but I'm having a really hard time gauging where he's at and how he feels. We have had some conversations that have illuminated quite a bit about the situation. He has been divorced for a few years. He's been single since then. I'm the first person he's dated or kissed since then. And he's been pretty closed off for the last few years. I'm trying my best to trust that these are true. We have been somewhat intimate, second base or something like that, but he revealed to me in a voice note today that something much deeper than biology is blocking him right now, and he wants to take things slow. I have to say, considering the current pace, I'm not sure what slow means. And the whole conversation made me very suspicious. Definitely should have been a call. I even suggested that. One part of me is very jaded and thinks this is a buffer to keep me at arm's length and keep me from expecting anything more, which hurts a lot. Another part of me wants to believe him when he says taking things slower will help us both in the long run. I have been very tempted, like old times with many situationships past, to quietly and slowly back away, delete, and move on. But I also feel like I'm too old for that. To be honest, I haven't been in anything serious myself since I was in my late 20s. So I'm trying to figure out what the mature thing to do is here. And I'm trying to understand what is going on and how to approach it. So he's not initiating anything. Should I see this as an icky red flag or am I just being picky? I really like the guy. Help.
Her sign off, she really likes him. So
right.
I don't think that this is like her saying this is a turnoff. This is great to have. She says he's a gentle. One of her descriptor words is he's gentle. And this is the first person that he's with since his marriage. And we don't have the information on how long that marriage is. But I could see a gentle, sweet, sensitive guy. The first person you're with after perhaps, who knows? I mean, he's 37. They could have been married for 10 years.
He's 37, yeah.
The first person he's with after it might, I think it's normal for sex to feel a little uncomfortable when it's the first person after you've been with one person for, perhaps a long time. So I think this is worth just maybe making him feel comfortable emotionally. He might be coming into this feeling like I'm in my head and I don't know. He said more than biology. So maybe he's having trouble and, sexually there and insecure. I think there's something going on his end about moving into this new thing. And if you like him, I would make him comfy to talk about it and say, hey, we can take our time here as long as I know that you're into this.
Dr. Naomi, why don't you be my therapist and people can listen in? Because let me give a reason I would give to someone that, let me put myself in this guy's shoes and give the reason I would give for not having sex with her. So let me give, and it might be where he's at. I mean, the spectrum is wide. It could be he has, he says it's not biology, but who knows? Maybe he has something going on with his body that he's afraid to tell you. That could be it. I don't think that's it if he's saying this. Being that he's gentle and just getting out of a divorce, here's how I would feel. You ready? Dr. Naomi, I'm dating this really wonderful woman, and it's been a couple years since my divorce, but I keep putting off sex with her because of the divorce. I feel it was a really big shake. It was a seismic move in my life, and I felt so guilty and bad, ending a relationship. I was the one that ended it. I feel horrible. The whole family was mad at me, and I ruined this really good relationship. I put off kids because, she wanted to have kids, and I used that as a way to not get too deep with her because it was kind of my escape. Because if I had kids with her, I'd stay with her forever and just be miserable. So I ended it. And now she's blaming, she blamed me for wasting her time, and time is valuable for a woman. And so now I'm dating again. And every time I get close with someone, I feel like the sex would lock me in. Like if I had sex with her, that would be like a promise I'm making. And if I don't like her after that and I want to end it, because I'm still not sure about her and where we go from here, that's why I'm pushing off. And now I'm with this girl who's like great, but I'm like, I kind of don't, the sex I think would make me feel even worse if I ended it afterwards.
So it sounds like you're taking all of that baggage and guilt and trauma even from your past relationship and projecting that forward into what will happen if you have sex with this person.
That's how it feels like to me.
I think a part of it is maybe having a conversation with this woman and being on the same page, which we can get into your whole marriage and how clearly you communicated there, but we're not going to do this for these purposes. But I
did a bad job on the marriage. Okay. I get it.
Right. So this
I fucked up, but that woman's gone.
This is a great opportunity for you to say, hey, whatever you feel like, I'm really attracted to you. I'd love to have sex with you. I do see this, progressing, and at least in the, I'd like to continue to see you, and I want to have sex with you, but I want you to know that I'm not 100% sure about where this is going, but I'd like to explore things with you, and I want to make sure you're okay with that.
Here's what I would say to the listener. If this little mini therapy session gave you the ick, like putting this guy in the shoes of me, if that gave you the ick, I actually agree with your ick. Like, he's not ready, and that gives me pause, and now I'm turned off. And if this conversation made you more curious and understanding of his side of the story and want to learn more, but also understanding that having sex might mean, you break up after the sex, then I think you're being too picky.
Yeah. I love what you did there. You gave her an in vivo exposure to this ick to see if it, I love it.
Because to me, that's probably the most likely of answers for him if he's acting honestly. Now, if he's acting dishonestly and he's fucking a bunch of women and he was like, I got to hold off because I just, was with someone, 10 minutes ago, we can't know that. But we'll take him at his word. But I do think for her, when she says her most honest part is, I really like the guy, her sign off. So you really like the guy. I would say that his feelings don't matter, but I really like you. I need to know what's going on here. I also want to fuck you, and I need to know why you won't do that.
Yeah.
And he might run away.
I think there's a fallacy that someone needs to be perfectly healed and not have any thoughts of anything before they can move on to another relationship. I think you can do that with someone as long as you're communicating about it. He's saying, he's dipping his toe in the water by saying, it's not just biology, which my interpretation of that is, maybe I could be wrong, but there's some biological component, meaning he's having trouble performing, or he's having performance anxiety because he's in his head maybe about everything that you just said. So if he's thinking about all that, it's not going to work in the moment. And so he's anxious about that not working and not being relaxed. So I do think a conversation about it might help. But yeah, if you don't want to be in it with him, then yeah, this probably isn't your person. But if you're willing to say, hey, you just got divorced, we can talk about it. How are you feeling?
But don't do that talk of everything you just heard from me was oh my God, the guy's really fucked
too
up.
Much. Yeah.
Okay, let's do another email.
All
right. UUP@betches.com. Keep sending your emails. We want you to send your emails. I'm also on the road. If you are out there, want to come to a show. Naomi had a great time. You had fun, even with people yelling out.
My favorite comment. You are my favorite comic.
Stop it.
Yes.
Stop it. You're biased, but I will take all compliments. I'm on the road. So come to a show, jaredfree.com. LA, Los Angeles. I'm coming. Everyone in LA. When are you coming to LA? Can you buy tickets early if you're hearing this now? Because it doesn't help me. That helps me. Don't do I came to support. No. Buy the tickets early. That's supportive. And then I put on a great show. You have fun. That is an even exchange.
Hi, J&J.
And DN.
I've recently discovered the podcast. I'm really enjoying it. I need your help figuring out what this text means. Screenshots attached. I'm 30 male. This is right after a first date with a flight attendant, 31 female, that I met on Hinge.
Hot.
The date was pleasant. We talked a little bit about past relationships. She mentioned she recently got out of a 2-year relationship and is looking to date casually right now. I told her I'm also recently out of a relationship and open to dating casually for now, but ultimately looking for something long term. I texted her later saying I had a good time and was interested in seeing her again. She responded, though, by saying I was, quote, too nice for a casual date. What I'm wondering is there really a category of men that are too nice to date casually? Or is this her way of saying she just didn't feel a connection? I'll admit I've struggled with nice guy syndrome and being too much of a people pleaser in the past, so it's entirely possible, too, that she sensed that and wasn't into it. Sincerely, too nice to date casually.
Okay, I've been this guy before. This sucks. This is the worst. This is like the worst case scenario. You're like, oh, you want to date casually? Ding, ding, ding. I found the one. I don't have to end this. This is going to be great. Then she's like, yeah, you're a bit of a kitty cat. I'm looking for a tiger. And you're like, fuck, I didn't make the cut. So let's read the text. I'll be him, you be her. Ready?
Okay.
I enjoyed meeting up with you the other day. Smiley face. That's when I knew it was over for him. The minute I saw a smiley face with the colon and paragraph ender, he didn't even do the emoji.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, no. She wants to, no.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? I asked you how you thought it went, so now here are my thoughts. Spending time with you was nice, and I'd be up for meeting up again for a casual date. Blushing face emoji. Hey, dude. I know you said you're not looking for anything serious right now. We could actually get that coffee next time. I know a great place in blank for espresso drinks.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. You're too nice for just a casual date, though. I think some other ladies out there would have a less crazy schedule and a better match for you. Smiley face. I'm interested in staying friends with you, and if you're okay with that, then we can get that coffee. And then she sends
a picture
sunset picture.
She sends a sunset picture, which that's what you send to your bestie. And then she writes,
I never stop being amazed at the sky.
Man, I feel for this guy. He writes, thanks for being honest, smiley face. I guess for me, I don't mind the casual date since I'm just recently started dating again. I could be open to staying friends. We'll have to see. Oh no. And then he responds to, I never stop being amazed at the sky. That's gorgeous. I bet it's an amazing view when you're in the sky too. Dude, run away. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What do you think, Dr. Naomi? Is there a therapy doctor chemical thing here?
I think that she's saying up front she wants casual, which I think means that this is probably the equivalent of the your type. You know what I'm saying? Like she wants a sexual type probably if she's looking for casual, that if you're a people pleaser and you're too nice of a guy, he's probably a little bit of a beta, which is fine. Like I think for a long-term partner, a beta is great for a lot of women. They like to be able to kind of, call more of the shots and make more of the decisions. But for a short-term casual sexual thing, I think she probably is looking for a little bit more of an assertive alpha type.
No, she wants to land in Cedar Rapids and get rocked. That's what she's saying. And he don't got the ability to do that for her. And good for her. I'm happy she's saying it to him. Like she wants to have an experience that is really not this like interpersonal thing that she's going to feel bad, hurting someone's feelings and doesn't want to talk about the sky with them and wants to she's got this different job as a flight attendant where she's going in and out of cities. She doesn't want to deal with the responsibility of another human being. And, they went and got drinks and she was attracted to him. And then she saw that this wasn't going to be the type of guy that could provide the service that she's looking for.
Right. I do think this comes full circle to the pain of the pain is greater than the pain of the change, because she doesn't want to change right now. Like she just wants to be, if she let's say it's 5 years down the line, and let's say she wants kids and she wants a long-term partner, I believe her that this guy might be the guy for her. I don't think it's even that she's not attracted to him or that she doesn't, I just think that right now she's not in a place where the pain of the pain that she needs to put up with the pain of the change, which is like, oh, I wish he'd be a little bit more sexually assertive, or I wish he'd be a little bit more, alpha in our interactions. That to me, if the pain of the pain is like, I don't know, let's say I'm 40 and I want to have kids. Let's say that's the pain of the pain. I think this guy would be great. Or even if it was 5 years down the line and she's like, I'm ready to settle into something, the pain of the change, which is like, maybe I prefer a little bit more of a alpha guy, but I'm willing to kind of keep going and seeing if I can see the beauty in this softer, more gentle, a guy that really cares about everyone's happiness around him, which is what a people pleaser is, which is a beautiful thing.
It is. It's just like, this is a mismatch of time, space, all that, and it's funny. It's like what she's looking for as far as for now is like, she kind of had an interview process and she had the interview and he was like, I'd love this job. Just want to follow up and see if you've filled the position. And she's like, excuse me. We have this position that has a very specific set of requirements. And it hurts me to say that you don't fit the position. We'll keep you in mind for another time. But this guy, like, as far as like explaining to him what happened, it's like nothing happened. You did everything right because you acted like yourself and you were the person you are, which will be great for someone. But not all of us are made to be studs. I think this is the problem with dating apps. It like lets you wear the costume of a stud. You used to have to go to a bar, walk in, talk to someone, bring them home. That took a lot of energy, money, that took looks, that took charm. You can do that every night on a dating app without any of those things. You don't need money. You don't need to leave the house. You don't need that much charm because you can kind of type out the script of who you want to be. And then you end up on a date with hottie stewardess and she's like, where the fuck did, Dwayne The Rock Johnson go?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with Kevin Hart,
right.
So, this is less, catfishing. This is stud fishing. This is, he acted a certain way on the app. They met on Hinge. Hey, I'm in town. Oh, come meet up. And then he's like, hey, so it's great to meet you, smiley face emoji. And she's like, no, like for her, this is a different version. So listen, Dr. Naomi Bernstein, this was fantastic. We are so happy.
This was really fun.
It's felt like I was with like Jordana. This is like it's like Jordana different. It's like I have the same feeling of like, it's very nice.
Oh, I'm sure you miss her. You'll be so excited when she comes back. I'm really thrilled to be here. Again, I loved your show. If you're listening, if you like the vibe, come find me, NaomiBernstein.com, individual sessions. The groups are awesome. Come check us out. And listen to Oversharing.
Listen to Oversharing. I'm a huge fan of the show. It is such a great Tuesday listen. That's my first listen on a Tuesday morning. Chill, love it. And the triggers are so funny. I think that segment is like such a fun look at like what gets people annoyed. Yes. And they're the most personal of stories. So Oversharing, sign up for their benefit, for their extras, and also go NaomiBernstein.com. I'm Jared Freed. We Solve Dating Again. We will be back next week. Boom.